Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for being here. My name is Becky Callaham, and I'm the Executive Director for Safe Harbor. You know why we're here. Every day we see in the news this horrible epidemic taking the lives of vibrant women. They were mothers, they were employees, they were friends, they were sisters, and even innocent children. And they're lost not to an illness or a horrible tragic accident. These individuals are losing their lives because the man who is supposed to love them most has taken their lives from them, snatched it away. Here in the gorgeous upstate of South Carolina, where we can see mountains and lakes, women and children are daily terrorized in their own homes. Home for these families is not a refuge or a safe haven. It is a battleground. Safe Harbor in 2008 did a feasibility study, and we found some disturbing information about Oconee County. Nearly half of Oconee County residents knew someone here who had been a victim of domestic violence and did not get help. 38% of respondents knew of a child that was living in an abusive home. And victims wouldn't get help because they were either too scared to leave or they just didn't know where to get help. Armed with this information, we not only had anecdotal stories and pleas from the community that said, please open a shelter here, we had facts to back it up. We knew then we needed to open a shelter in Oconee County where victims could land softly after leaving the battleground of their own homes. But unfortunately, we were up against a couple of major barriers. One was a problem of education. The community acknowledgement and understanding that domestic violence is indeed a problem in Oconee County. And number two, Safe Harbor had an identity problem. We basically had our own PR problem. Nobody knew who we were and how we could help. So for the past 3 years, we have solidly and steadily worked to educate the community about what domestic violence is and that it is here in Oconee County. And I do want to thank the media outlets that are here who have worked with us to tell those stories and to help us get that message out. Also during that time, we added Oconee County community leaders, volunteers, and passionate advocates to our cause. These folks, many of whom are here today, have spent countless hours making sure that every single person in Oconee County knows who Safe Harbor is. Last July, we held a press conference to grieve with you and to ask you in joining us in making a shelter a reality as soon as possible. We knew that lives were depending on us. Sadly, in January, the exclamation point on domestic violence in Oconee County occurred when we grieved yet 2 more lives lost. But today we come to you with great news and a challenge, and the challenge will come later. Safe Harbor has purchased a facility that we will use in Oconee County as our shelter. Our plans are to open the shelter debt-free with 3-year sustainability funds by 2015. If we raise the money earlier, and this is off the record, right? And I hope we will. We will open it earlier. But during that time, what we were going to be doing is raising money and retrofitting the shelter at the same time to make sure that when we have the money in hand, we can just turn the key and open the doors to safety and healing. We wouldn't be standing here with this great news if it weren't for the Oconee County community who joined us to make this a reality. Actually, to be honest, we joined them. It started with 2 women, Jenna Black and Martha Brady, and a couple of fierce advocates, Rhonda Morgan and Lisa Williams, who were unafraid to speak out about domestic violence and who refused to allow women and children in Oconee County to suffer in silence. I'm proud to say to Jenna and Martha, we heard you. We also heard stories from countless survivors of domestic violence who shared with us their lives and their own personal stories. They've helped us to know how to run our programs and to know that opening the shelter is absolutely the right thing. Sheriff Crenshaw has been listening to victims and advocates. Chrissy Adams has been listening to victims and advocates, and both of them have committed to listening to the victim and holding the abuser accountable. Safe Harbor Board of Directors, led by Elizabeth Gadd, not only approved a plan to open a new shelter, but has provided leadership to create a strategic, sustainable plan to assure that Safe Harbor will be available for victims for many, many years to come. The Oconee County Advisory Committee, led by Jim Gadd and John Powell, have been the hands and the feet of Safe Harbor in this community, fundraising and friend-raising. United Way has helped us to make sure that everybody in Oconee County know what we're doing and when we're going to do it, and that this will be a reality. And if you haven't met the staff of Safe Harbor, please do. I assure you that you are in great hands with these women providing hope and healing to victims. If I ever needed help, I would want these women on my side. I applaud those of you who have invested in this endeavor already. You're putting a stake in the ground to save lives and to change lives in Oconee County. The return on your investment is huge. As one of our clients said, "Now I feel free. I am the owner of my life." Joining me here today are our South Carolina Representative Bill Sandifer, South Carolina Senator Thomas Alexander, and U.S. Congressman Trey Gowdy. I am proud to stand next to all of them because they all passionately care about the safety and the quality of life of women in South Carolina and are with us in Columbia and in Washington. And I would like for them to say a few words, please.